Okay, personally, I believe that film is meant to entertain first.
Mm.
If something's not interesting, I'm turning it off. I'm watching something new.
Yeah.
However, I also do think that film has a certain responsibility in the world because it shapes mindsets and viewpoints.
Yeah.
Do you agree that it should be entertainment first, or is there a level of film making that I don't quite understand yet?
Um, that's a great question because so I'm studying film now,
Mm.
and art in general is that saying like art is relative. That's the saying, right? Like it's different for
Yeah,
different
yeah.
people, right? Yeah.
It's subjective,
Um,
also.
yeah,
Yeah.
subjective. I think that was the word I was looking
All
for.
right, good.
Subjective. And entertainment is different for everyone,
Mm,
and it really depends on the agenda of the director
mm.
and who their audience is. So for example, I'm making this super comedic film that makes fun of like Hitler. Okay, I'm using Jojo Rabbit
Yeah,
as
yeah,
an
yeah,
example. Yeah,
yeah.
so Jojo Rabbit, um if I showed that, so I watched it with my lolo,
Okay.
and he takes these topics very seriously. He's very traditional and
Yeah,
conservative. When he watched it, he was like, I don't know. That's a serious topic to make very comedic and to
yeah,
portray like that. That's kind of weird. But for me, that's one of my favorite films. Now I'm like, that's
yeah, yeah,
beautiful,
yeah,
and that like he was putting some politics there, and I was really touched by it. But then it wasn't shoved in my face. But for
yeah.
other people, it was like, um, it wasn't their type. So entertainment being the first thing for film, it really depends on the agenda of the director. But I do believe I had this conversation before, where they were asking me, um wherein they were talking about pop culture and how it's so different to the way I make my films or
Yeah, yeah.
all that. Um they were saying, do you compromise? Would you compromise like making your film how pop culture wants it or how many people want it? Would you do that? And I
Mm.
was thinking, I don't know, like will the way pop culture wants me to make the film, will it give justice to my character, to the character of the film? Will
Mm.
it give justice to the script?
Mm.
Um so no, I barely do that because I believe that I have this whole process and I don't want to compromise it just
Yeah,
because these people are saying, oh, that's not how we want it.
yeah.
Um, but as a creative, you have to find ways to reach that audience without having to compromise your process, your
Mm.
message. That's why I love Taika Waititi.
Oh yes,
Um,
yes, yeah, yeah,
yeah, because he's so creative, like how he did Jojo Rabbit and how he did The Boy and a lot
yeah,
of his
yeah,
movies
yeah,
and how he did Thor.
yeah.
Like he was able to change it in a way that would cater to everyone, but at the same time he's keeping his style. He's not compromising
Mm.
anything, and it's just the same things he's been making, but I don't know, more beautiful and
Right,
very very creative. So yeah, it really depends on the agenda of your director, how far you're willing to go.
right.
Honestly, yeah.
What's your process like?
um, honestly, I don't have a super solid answer for that
Okay,
because
that's
especially
fine.
since I'm studying film, you're exposed to new things.
Mm.
I'll give an example. So when I was studying screenwriting with this very good professor of mine, he was saying, okay, so scripts are great formatted this way, and don't type what the character thinks because the audience can't see that. And screenplays aren't supposed to be books where you're typing their emotions. You have to type what they look like, thinking of those emotions, blah,
Mm.
blah, blah. And then I fell in love with that format. And then recently I was given a script that was all left aligned, and then the font was Arial. And then
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
just typing the feelings, and then they would say camera instructions and editing instructions. Like, what is this? This is
Mm.
like what the heck?
Yeah,
um
yeah, yeah.
Especially as like because I'm studying production management, and it's so hard to dissect that script because you're
I'm
supposed
sure.
to type down like where you're gonna shoot, and if the place says dark, period. I'm like, what?
Like
Or like
dark what?
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like what? um so I'm still questioning that process, but this is what I notice, I guess, that I'm always writing first and taking my time with the script and with the story and asking people what they think
Okay.
before making the film.
In general, what is the responsibility of film in society?
Uh, yeah, it's big.
Yeah,
Period.
it's huge.
But no, it's huge because especially now, I mean, a lot of people were saying that, like in Facebook, where you people who are downgrading artists live this pandemic life without watching
Right.
Netflix or
Yeah.
watching news and all that stuff. Um, but I want to explain film.
Okay,
Like
go ahead.
how I see film is it's a different reality where we're experiencing um different people's stories and different
Mm,
people's lives, different
yeah.
people's emotions. So aside from it just being a form of entertainment where we're laughing at these jokes or we're crying on these dramas,
Mm,
these are people's stories which affect us. Like we won't say like, oh no, it didn't affect me, but it's there. Eh.
yeah,
You
yeah,
watched it,
yeah,
especially if it's a great movie, it's there in your heart. I
yeah.
recently watched this film, which I recommend. I'm not sure if it's available anymore, but the name of the film is Tokwifi. It
Okay.
was directed by Carlo Ocampo, and the film follows an Igorot man, and then the the thing is, there's a meteor that crashes in like his village, near his
Oh,
village, but that meteor is a TV from the 50s, and there's an actress stuck on it. Not like her physical body, but on the screen,
oh, that's
like
interesting.
Black Mirror.
Mm.
And then they have this romantic connection, but there's a language barrier.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It's this is just a short film, but it felt so like when I was watching the film, I wanted to be where they were. I
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to feel what he was feeling and feel what she was feeling.
yeah.
I wanted to be there with the foley, like experience the story
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with the grass sounds, with the wind. And that story is with me. These characters are in my heart. They're in my brain. I think about them because that film is great and huge. And that's film. It's a different
Yeah.
reality that we're allowed to experience, that we're allowed to um live, I guess. It's I wouldn't say it's like an escape from reality because when we're sure it's a different reality, but since it's on the screen, we're sort this like we meet in the middle sort
Mm,
of thing. Yeah. And then we take that reality and then we bring it to ours. So
right.
for me that is film, and I'm pretty sure people, if they could word it, it would be sort of similar. Like even though like we just say like, oh, I just watch Netflix, to feel good and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
um my sister's watching New Girl right now.
Oh, I'm
I
actually
could hear
watching that
it.
now. Okay, go on.
Oh, she's watching New Girl right now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's a great comedy. But she talks about those characters after like watching it,
Mm.
and then she even her the joke she hears, it reminds it of them, or like she'll say their same jokes, she'll steal their jokes. um, but yeah, film is more than just it's more than just the art or the medium it is. It really connects with us. It really,
Yeah,
especially if it's really good.
for sure.
Yeah, that it's a different reality that's awesome and great, and it's not far away from our hands. Yeah.
For sure. I like what you said though. It's not just an escape. I think that it can be both an escape and a reflection.
Yeah.
However way you want to put it as a director or as a writer,
Yeah.
right? But what are your thoughts on more political agendas being placed in film? Is this healthy or is this detrimental in the long run?
Um, it really depends on like the director. Like, what do
Mm,
you want, dude? Like, what do you want your film to be?
mm,
Um, with the audience, it also depends what they want to watch.
uh,
Because there's this film I recently watched. It's called The Mortician of Manila. It
mm,
was about this mortician in Manila who was who was taking the bodies of the EJK victims.
mm,
He's the one who is like checking what caused their death, and
yeah.
then they would even show that they got tortured before they were killed.
Mm,
They would get sliced and then sewn again so
what?
that it wouldn't
Okay.
look like, yeah, like
Mm,
um but the twist is the mortician is very pro Duterte. Do you get it?
Okay.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so we have these two sides of the story, and we have to think about it. What I love about that film is that we're not really told yun nga like this mortician is bad. In fact, before he was talking about Duterte, or maybe even during, I didn't see him as like harmful or like, oh,
Mm.
that guy's like that guy sucks. In fact, I felt empathy because there are times he would really waive the fees of the family
Wow.
of the
Okay.
EJK
Yeah.
victims, right? Um so I guess if your film is really political and shoving it into people's faces, you're limiting your audience. Like,
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
limiting the amount of audience you can reach. But
Mm.
if your film is like this, where you're really able to think it out and ask yourself the question, um, that's better. Because
Yeah.
again, with the political agenda shoved in your face, you're not given time to think. You're not given time to move around and say like, wait, I have a question. You're just saying, the director is just saying, this is that, this is right and this is wrong, and that should be for you to.
Mm.
But it's there are films which are like that, but I don't know. I guess if you really wanted to reach a bigger audience, you should really be creative with
Yeah.
it. But personally, I wouldn't go that road,
Right. Okay.
because I feel like I could find more ways as a director, as a
Yeah.
creative, to you. I mean, the goal is really to make. Well, for me, I want my message to reach a wider audience.
Yeah, for sure.
If I'm just limiting it to people who watch 8-hour films, if I make an 8-hour film, that people who watch 8-hour films are gonna watch that, but that's not like
Yeah, yeah.
who's gonna do that, right? I
Yeah.
have so much stuff to do in the day. So yeah, I guess it depends also on the purpose of the director. Like,
For sure.
do you just want to entertain people and make them feel good? Do you want them to ask themselves
Mm.
questions? Um, yeah, it really depends on the heart of the producer, actually, and director
Mm.
and the writer, everyone.
Hey guys, if you're still here, please subscribe and check out our other videos on YouTube.